Yo, yo, yo. What up, what up, what up? Yo, first and foremost, I just want to say, yo, veterans, let's not forget those that did not come home. Let's take a moment to remember the sacrifices that our teammates, shipmates, Marines, fellow soldiers, Coast Guard, National Guardsmen, Air Force, those who did not come home paid this ultimate sacrifice. So, look, let's take a moment and remember them. Today is Veterans Day. I'm a veteran, many years in the United States Navy, wife, retired Marine. So we understand and honor the sacrifices that many have made. So, look, today, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about financial literacy. Africans in America, we are woefully, woefully ignorant when it comes to financial literacy. Can't make this up. I'm gonna read a statistic real quick. The global, hold on, let me check this out. According to Global Financial Literacy Excellence, let me repeat that, Global Financial Literacy Excellence Center, basically 72% of Africans in America are financially ignorant. What are we going to do to change that? What are we going to do to change it? I mean, the economy is not getting any better. It's not. The economy is not getting any better. We're watching the prices go up every single day. So, look, let's talk about it briefly. Let's talk about GDP, the gross domestic product. Most of my investment friends, matter of fact, I would argue all of my investment friends, black, white, red, or yellow, they understand what GDP is. They understand it. We don't get caught up in it. Now, look, I'm not saying that, I'm a certified financial planner, but I am a financial planner through UCLA Extension. I do have a little bit of knowledge. Been investing in crypto since 2012. Been investing in the market since 2015. So I'm banging. Either way you look at it, your boy is banging. But I specifically want to talk about today the gross domestic product and what it is. Now, look, we all have computers in our pockets. There's no excuse for not being financially literate. There's none. There's no excuse for that. Now, there was a time in my life where I was financially illiterate. I was. I was a young cat in the Navy, spending up my little paychecks. But I do recall with one of my very first paychecks, I bought some Microsoft stock. It was a pain in the ass to get it too. It was a pain in the ass to get it because we weren't connected back then. So I had to go through a broker, and the brokerage gave me all kinds of hell because I didn't have the right amount of deposit. But I was able to talk to this one cat, told him I was young in the military, and he found a way to give me my shares. And that was my first experience with investing. My dad had an opportunity to buy Microsoft, but he didn't understand investing. My dad was from Africa, Mali, Timbuktu. My mom is Nigerian. So look, both of my parents are from the continent. So they came over here in the 50s, not really knowing anything other than my father was recruited into the Marine Corps because he spoke several languages, but he loved being on the drill field. That's neither here or there. I'm just saying all that to let y'all know that, I come from a military family. So today is not necessarily a happy day because I've been in combat, lost some people in combat. 2 combat tours. So look, again, I don't want to get sidetracked. So let me digress and get back to the topic. The topic is gross domestic product. That's what it is, y'all. What is GDP? So look, GDP is basically all the goods and services that you spend your money on. For example, lemonade would be calculated into the gross domestic product. Your car payment would be calculated into the gross domestic product. So what is the U.S. gross domestic product? GDP in America is consumerism. Our economy is driven by debt. This is why in the next few weeks or few months, you're going to see all these fintech companies offering to increase your what? Credit. To increase your credit. People are starting to buy food with Klarna and Affirm and all these other fintech companies. How crazy is that? You're financing a consumable. You're going to eat that food, but yet you're going to have that debt. Debt and consumerism drive the U.S. economy. Now, let's compare it to other economies. For example, China been in the news a lot lately. Look at their GDP. Their GDP increases every year and is well above the so-called 3% that we have. Matter of fact, next year, they're calculating that America's USA gross domestic product is going to be less than 2%, maybe 1.5%. So let's look at that. Consumerism and debt drives the U.S. economy. Point blank and simple. It drives the U.S. economy. So when we're in debt, the economy thrives. This is why the dude in the White House is talking about these $2,000 tariff dividend checks. Now, that's not the most ignorant shit I've ever heard. It's crazy. For example, that's like giving you a turkey leg one day and then taking the whole turkey away the next day. So even with this $2,000 so-called tariff dividend check, you're still paying more for the goods and services that you may buy with it. Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't help people. Sure, $2,000 is a lot of money to people. But the United States is already $38 trillion in debt. Where are they going to get the money from? These companies in plants and all this development that's supposed to be taking place in the United States, that hasn't happened yet. So where is according to the dude in the White House, his last figure was $18 trillion coming from. He said by the end of the year, it'd be $20 trillion. How? The total amount taken in by the U.S. government from U.S. citizens, taxes, and all their other instruments to bring money into the Treasury is maybe $5.5 trillion. So every year we have to spend and borrow $1.5 to $2 trillion. Therein lies your deficit. So look, I don't know what's going on, but my point is this. Africans in ameriKKKa and those who are under this administration, we have to become financially literate. Straight up. We have to become financially literate. If we don't, by 2053, just look it up. Do your research. Consult your AI assistant. And if you're not an AI, I suggest you get into it, black folk. Just like our parents were afraid of the internet back in 94, 95, 96. Look at it now. We're at that time of AI. We're at that time, y'all. So look, at the end of the day, gross domestic product talks about debt. Whenever the economy is doing great, all the talking heads on TV, they don't talk about debt. But those of us who invest understand that debt is good for us investors. Why? Most of us don't own the means of production. Most of us don't benefit from being an employer because most of us are employees. A just over broke, a job, That's not going to make you wealthy, y'all. It's not going to make you wealthy. Wealth comes from three things, in my opinion, and you can look it up. Number one, investing. Number two, real estate. Number three, investment. No, my bad. Number three would be business. I already said investment. Give me a break. I'm a veteran. By the way, this is my first live. And I'm looking forward to getting this information out to the people that need it. Like I said, once upon a time, I was woefully financially ignorant. Back in 2012, I got into crypto. Told all my friends at UCLA, because that's my alma mater. I've studied at lots of schools, and I got a lot of paper in various disciplines. So look, told my people about it all over in 2012. Get on this crypto. Get on this crypto. Get on this crypto. I got in very, very cheap, put it that way. It was less than $3. Ethereum, 2015, less than $1. XRP, less than 10 cents. Now, if you look at these markets now and exchanges, hey, it doesn't take rocket science to figure it out that and those of us who got into it early have had a really good return on our investment. So look, Black people, brown people, and anyone who wants to listen to this because it's relevant to all. But I'm primarily talking to my brothers and sisters because if you look at Europeans and white folk in this country, they are slightly more literate financially. And there's all reasons why that is. I'm not going to go into that on my very first live content, but I plan on being here every day because Africans and Latinos, if you do not start changing your spending habits today, you'll have nothing to leave to your children or grandchildren by 2053. Now, look, I'm 56, so I may not even be here, but my children will and my money will. So look, it's all about legacy and generational wealth. You want to pass something on to your children, to your children's children. For my religious folk, I think it's Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children's children. And this is what my wife and we've been able to do. Through what? Not any jobs, but through investing, real estate, and having our own business. Investing is not easy. It's not for the weak. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not. For veterans out there who retired, who gets compensation, y'all got y'all monies wrapped up in your houses and real estate. That's good. But you can't sell your house right now. You could probably get some liquidity out of it through equity, through a HELOC. Now, look, since I mentioned HELOC, that was one of the questions that was on this financial literacy 10 questionnaire that produced the statistic that 72% of us are financially ignorant and or illiterate. HELOC, home equity line of credit. GDP, gross domestic product. Inflation, and we'll talk about inflation tomorrow. Like I said, I plan on going live every single day, whether anyone listens or not. And maybe my title, ameriKKKa. I can only speak to my experiences in this country. My parents, they're from the motherland. So look, this is where I live right now. Do I have interest elsewhere? Of course I do. I'm an investor. Look at Trump. I ain't mad at Trump. I'm not mad at Trump. Now, he's treating us veterans like shit. You know, he's treating the American people that voted for him like shit. You know, the farmers then fucked around and found out You know what I'm saying? But look, he has businesses all over the world. He has deployed his children to go get business. Their crypto game, just research how much they have made in their crypto game. So look, when it comes to legacy and making money, I can't be mad at that dude. I can't be mad at him at all. Because why? I bought the dip back in April, but buying the dip now. So look, if you watch his moves with regards to the markets, you will make money. You watch him in the Oval Office talk about his boy Schwab, how much money he made. All you have to do is Google it, not even Google it, look it up on YouTube, and they'll tell you. So look, people, it's real simple in my book. In order for us to change our condition, we have to change the way we think about money. In order for us to change the way we think about money, we have to change who we are. Money is a tool. That's it. Money is not going to change who you are. It's going to magnify who you are. So if you're a shitty ass person, broke, more than likely you're going to be a shitty ass person with money. So we want to get our character right, get our mindset right. Look, well, looks like us now. I'm Sarah L. This is my first live. Hope you guys review it. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my little corny videos because AI is not going anywhere. So you're going to see a lot of AI content, a lot of editing, overlays, and this, that, and the other. I'm starting organic. Day one. Day one. And I'll change my titles because I know financial literacy in ameriKKKa may be offsetting. But look, y'all, we have to face reality. And I think, our European and white people are starting to see that now that they see that Africans in America, foundational Black Americans, are not the face of government assistance. We haven't been getting government assistance on a whole for a long time, y'all. Government assistance was never designed for us. It was designed for you, Europeans and white Americans. Even white immigrants benefit more from social services and government products than those of us who've been in this country for a while. Again, I'm Sarah L. And I hope you guys like my content. Hope you guys subscribe to my channel. For veterans, look, we have a lot of problems that we deal with on a daily basis, primarily accessing good healthcare. Well, there's ways around the VA. There are ways around the VA. My wife and I use these mechanisms all the time. And by using these mechanisms like Champ VA has significantly reduced our stress in having to deal with the VA hospital in and of themselves. So again, y'all, I'm Sarah L. I'll be coming at y'all. Well, looks like us. Peace.